Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on January 12th, 2017. And well, this entire show started off with a quick promo backstage from the Broken Hardys about their match with the Wolves tonight for the tag team titles. Leading into the main event, they cut a pretty decent promo here. Both Matt and Jeff did. Nothing to their normal levels, or at least high quality standard levels that you would expect from them over the past couple of months or so, but not a bad promo nonetheless. After this, EC3 comes out. First promo or anything happening inside the Impact Zone tonight. Now, just for clarification, I did miss last week's Impact, so I do not know exactly what happened from the week before. They do a decent job recapping, though, throughout the entire night, such as Davey Richards coming back and everything in that sense. So they at least do a good job of recapping enough to make sure that you know what's going on. So EC3 comes out, and he cuts his promo about the two world title matches he had last week. The one on Impact Wrestling with Bobby Lashley, and the one that he had with Eddie Edwards on the one night only pay-per-view as well. This is a good promo. He basically calls it out to being Davey Richards getting involved in both of those matches, and he calls out the Wolves, but he gets Lashley instead. Lashley and EC3 have a good back and forth. This eventually leads to Lashley challenging EC3 to the number one contendership to the world title via a last man standing match. EC3 basically says, yeah, I want this match, but I don't want it later tonight. I want it now. And they start brawling, and they do eventually make the match happen after the commercial break. Now, the match with Lashley and EC3, this was a good last man standing match. I did like what they decided to do with a good chunk of this. They have a lot of very close calls in the terms of getting up at the 9 count and everything in that sense. And you believe that at that point in time, you should be getting a high count as well with what the moves they were doing and everything in that sense. So they did a really good job in that sense on the match. And they also made a very close finish where they had Lashley get up at the 9 count, but EC3 was just barely not able to make it up by the 10 count itself. And Lashley wins the match and becomes the number one contender towards the world title. Like I said, this is a very enjoyable match. They gave it a good chunk of time, too, for everything to develop. They did a really good job with this match, and I thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable match. Backstage, Eli Drake makes a stagehand come in and basically read a note. And now also Eli Drake, I guess this happened last week, is now hand in hand with Tyrus to go along with everything as well. And the note basically said, Eli Drake running down the fan saying, it's like, oh, you're the guys who wanted to cheer the fact that I lost the ability to speak for the rest of the year, so I'm not going to be cutting your entertaining promos anymore. And basically he's berating this guy throughout the entire time, like not doing his typical Eli Drake shtick that he usually does. And this came off really well. I like this side of Eli Drake, and we'll see how he changes up his promos down the road here, and it'll be interesting to see his dynamic with Tyrus as well. I thought this was a rather good promo set, and I liked how they did everything here. Aaron Rex comes out next, and he also has Rockstar Spud introducing him, who apparently had quit the company, but now he's working for Aaron Rex, and they have this new get up and everything for Rockstar Spud. And Aaron Rex has like a fur coat, and he has, like, instead of just the 2 rings that he had been using, he has like rings on all of his fingers now and everything in that sense. Like, they changed up his look and everything. So Aaron Rex basically comes out, cuts a promo saying the reason why people actually pay to see him is not to actually have wrestling matches. It's just to, see him and do what he does best, and I guess entertain in that sense of everything. And this promo was not too bad. He gets interrupted by Robbie E, and this does eventually lead to a brawl where Aaron Rex does get the upper hand over Robbie E and everything in that sense, using the rings and everything on his hands and everything in that sense. And finishes off by saying, as I was saying before, violence is not the answer, and then leaves after he had beaten up Robbie E and everything. This was a pretty interesting one. I'm waiting to see where they go with this. I've always liked it, Aaron Rex, Damian Sandow on the microphone. I thought he's always been relatively good, so we'll see where they go with all of this in every way, shape, or form, and we'll see how this actually plays off in the end. Up next was a DCC promo, and this promo was on Decay. And here's the thing I really liked about this promo from the DCC. They actually conveyed more conviction and more reasoning behind who they are and why they're doing everything that they're doing in this one promo than they had done before when they were doing the weird talk over promos to go along with everything. And now they also got a full-on name. I'm not sure if they actually got this name beforehand or they had ever said it, but this is the first time I'm saying it. Now they're, the DCC's name is Death Crew Council. I'm not too sure about the name, but now you're getting a little bit more conviction, a little bit more of like an understanding of what they are doing. I even like the aspect that they bring up what happened to Bram with Decay beforehand, and this led into their match with Decay. It ended in a DQ finish. The crowd itself was kind of out of this one because of the heel versus heel dynamic of everything. And the other thing that I also saw that was very interesting was the aspect of Decay having new music. I'm not sure if this happened last week or if this is the first time Decay's shown up, but they no longer come out to the Marilyn Manson song, Nobody's. They come out to a completely different song, and I'm not too sure if I'm liking it at this point in time, but then again, it's the first time I heard it, and I've gotten used to Decay coming out to Nobody's and everything in that sense, so that's one of the things that maybe you have to get used to. This match itself ends in a DQ finish as they brawl on the outside and everything in that sense, but in the end, it was really hard to get into the heel versus heel dynamic of everything that was going on in this match, and we have to see we'll see if they continue on with this. I would assume they will, and maybe they're going to be doing something to make Decay semi-face or something like that. I don't know, but we'll see where they go with this. But the heel versus heel dynamic of both sides here, I think it's fine on the aspect of DCC showing more conviction and you got a little bit better understanding of where they're at, but it's definitely going to take a little bit getting used to it, the aspect that two heel teams are fighting each other at this point in time. Up next, they had Brooke in a backstage, or not necessarily backstage, but a before the event interview, basically announcing her return, saying she's coming back to the Knockouts division and everything in that sense. It's good to see Brooke back and everything, but there wasn't too much of this. It was kind of your basic promo and everything in that sense. And then, this happened a little bit early in the show, but the setup and everything going along with it, you had a promo backstage with Ali and Maria. The first thing I really got to ask is, like, how, with the way everything's going, how is Ali still the apprentice to Maria at this point in time? Like, how is this not fully gone full circle and, like, Ali's broken off from Maria or Maria's fired her or anything in that sense? It's kind of like mind-blowing how long they're actually running with this at this point in time. It felt like that this should have come to an end, but Maria basically says, berates Ali some more and basically says, her trainer, Braxton Sutter, is going to have a match with Michael Bennett tonight, and Michael Bennett's going to beat him to such a pulp that she will not be able to get trained by Braxton Sutter anymore. Now, on to that match. This was a decent match with Braxton Sutter and Michael Bennett. I liked where they were going with a lot of things. I liked how they played off of everything that Maria wants Bennett to basically destroy Braxton Sutter, make sure she can't train Ali or anything in that sense to becoming a wrestler anymore. I liked where they went with it. Sutter gets the win, but because of the overconfidence in Michael Bennett after doing a pile driver, and then and Maria wanted to cause more damage. He gets the roll up and gets the victory. I thought this came off rather well. In the end, it wasn't like the greatest match in the world. I don't even really think it was that good of a match, but I think the storyline kind of came off a little bit better, and it ended up working in the end a little bit better to go along with it. Rosemary comes out. She cuts a promo on the Knockouts division stage, how she's going to run through all the knockouts and everything in that sense. Said Jade and Gail Kim were just the first, but Jade is the one who interrupts again. And she wants a title match. She wants a rematch for the title after what had happened in the cage and everything in that sense between the two of them. And it comes down to a point that Rosemary was going to accept, but only if Jade accepts to a Monsters Ball match, which she does accept, and they both brawl at the end to go around everything. I thought this promo was pretty good, and it sets up for the Monsters Ball match, whenever that's going to happen. And that's been my biggest knock about TNA Impact, but I got kind of let loose on that a little bit. That they seem to have not like a gauntlet match, but a stipulation style match on a weekly basis, and it gets a little bit overbearing. But then again, they don't run as many pay-per-views to go along with it, so you got to give and take a little bit on that one. But we'll see when they do this match and everything in that sense. But you got a Monsters Ball match coming up, so we got yet again another gimmick match coming to go along with it. But it should be interesting to at least watch, and hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. This leads into the main event of the night, which was the Wolves going up against the Broken Hardys. We saw a promo earlier in the show with Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards talking about like everything Eddie Edwards had done throughout the year, but Eddie Edwards like seems super amped to team up with Davey Richards again and try to become World Tag Team Champions, and you see that dynamic going through the match. Now this match with the Broken Hardys and the Wolves, I thought was a really good match, very good match between the two of them. And we saw a lot of good tag team matches this week. Now that you think about it, you have DIY The Revival on NXT, American Alpha in Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton on SmackDown. But here on TNA Impact, you have a really, really good tag team match with the Broken Hardys and the Wolves again. The Hardys get the win at the end where Davey Richards was trying to set up for another maneuver, but Eddie Edwards gets pulled out of the ring by Matt Hardy, or he gets distracted and he tries to take out Matt Hardy with a springboard over the top, or a slingshot over the top, and Davey Richards goes off towards Eddie to try to get him back in the ring, and then Matt Hardy rolls him up for the pin. The really interesting thing was the signs of like crazy frustration from Davey Richards after this match, making it feel like that maybe there's a little bit of tension between him and Eddie Edwards, and see if they're going to be going for a heel turn. Now, Grant, this is a little bit cliche, don't get me wrong, because how often do you see where one teammate is out for a long period of time, and then when they come back, their teammate had seen single success, and now they're teaming up, and now the returning member potentially has this heel turn coming. It's kind of cliche, but we'll see how they play it off, and see if it gets played off rather well here. It'll be interesting to see where they go with everything. So, overall, I'm going to go off and say this was a pretty good Impact. I liked this show. I thought it came off rather well, and I thought it was, you had a really good match at the beginning and a really good match at the end, and they had some decent setup going down the line for future matches to go along with it. So we'll see how everything ends up going, and that is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling. I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day.